Dead Marshes are the northwest of the gates of Mordor. There were always marshes, but not always dead. They become dead marshes only in the very last years of the Second Age. Let me explain. The Battle of the gil-galad Fields took place in 3434 of the Second Age, just outside the gates of Mordor. The battle actually began before Gil-galad, the leader of the Alliance, had a chance to give any order. The forest elves, who did not want to submit to their brothers, thoughtlessly moved forward, led by Orofer and Amdir. Despite a big heart to fight, the commanders overestimated their skills and misjudged the situation on the battlefield. The number of Mordor's troops crushed them. In addition, the forest elves were not as well equipped as their noble brothers from Lindon. Orofer had fallen during the first attack. Amdir's army was cut off shortly afterwards. The orcs pushed them into the marshes. Half of Amdir's troops, including him, were murdered there. However, not only elves died there, because almost 2000 years later, people fell victim to the forces of darkness in the same spot. This whole situation began in the middle of the 19th century of the Third Age, when the influence of the Wain Riders began to intensify in the south of Mirkwood. Wain Riders are generally speaking bad people from the east. Gondor drove them out at the end of the century, but they immediately began to plan revenge and attack on the Kingdom of Gondor from two sides. The war resumed in 1944 during the reign of Ondoher. The king decided to divide his army into two parts. The smaller one, under the command of Earnil, was guarding the south, while the king himself and his older son Artamir moved north. Living in Minas Tirith an heir named Faramir, the army of the Wain Riders advanced much faster than the Gondorians assumed and attacked the warriors from the White City before they could prepare the fortifications. Not only Ondoher but also his son Artamir died in this sudden battle. Shortages of soldiers of Gondor and Eotets helping them were pushed to the Dead Marshes. The survivors tried to save all who had gone astray, with miserable results. One of the commanders of the expedition managed to almost save the young boy, but he died on his hands. As it turned out later, this boy was Faramir, heir to the throne after Ondoher. He slipped out of the city walls and joined the Riders to prove his bravery. More than 1000 years later, Aragorn appeared in Dead Marshes and captured Gollum there. Just 2 years later, Gollum led Frodo and Sam through this location. They came to the marshes at night. In complete darkness, Sam's attention was caught by vicious fires appearing here and there over the surface of dark water. Over the years, the swamps spilled further and further. It was now difficult to find safe ground. Both Frodo and Sam found out for themselves what lurks underwater. Dead elves, humans and orcs. For thousands of years, their bodies had decomposed. The corpse was only an illusion. The dark spectres were linked to this place, waiting only for the opportunity to devour more victims. In letter 266, Tolkien admitted that Dead Marshes were inspired by what he saw in one of the battles of the First World War, the Battle of Somme.